Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to our live news report here from our London studios. Today we begin our program with our live news special from Hazur's tour here in Europe. So without further ado, let's go to our team in Netherlands where Qamar Ahmed Sahib is showing us the main report from there.
I am currently right now outside Baitun Noor Mosque in Holland, Nunspeet, where His Holiness Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen Ayyadahullahu Ta'ala bin Nasrihil Aziz is actually right now meeting with families from all across Holland who are numbering in dozens at the moment, and we will shortly be showing you a glimpse of that as well. This is of course after Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen Ayyadahullahu bin Nasrihil Aziz arrived yesterday night to be greeted by hundreds of Ahmadi guests here who were eagerly awaiting his arrival. Just yesterday night we actually captured that moment, the emotions, the sentiments of the people. Here's a short glimpse of His Holiness's arrival just yesterday night.
On the 25th of September 2019, at approximately 10 AM local time, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may Allah be his helper, departed for his tour of Europe. His Holiness will be attending the annual conventions of the Netherlands and France, as well as addressing European dignitaries in both Paris and Berlin. Many members of the local Jamaat were gathered to see off their beloved Khalifa. Before departure, Hazur led those present in a silent prayer.
Ameen.
On the 25th of September 2019, at approximately 8 PM local time, His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may Allah be his helper, arrived in Nunspeet, the Netherlands. His Holiness was welcomed by the Deputy Mayor Gert Vandenberg, along with local neighbours and members of the Jamaat. Following his arrival, Hazur led the Maghrib and Isha prayers at the Baitun Noor Mosque. Nunspeet is a town in the central province of Gelderland in the Netherlands. It has a population of 27,000 people. Over the weekend, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community Netherlands will hold its 39th annual convention, also known as the Jalsa Salana. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, may Allah be his helper, will be gracing this event with his presence.
So as you've seen, His Holiness Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen Ayyadahullahu Ta'ala bin Nasrihil Aziz arrived yesterday in Holland to be greeted by many people. I am currently joined by Amir Sahib Holland. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Of course, this is a very historic moment for Jamaat in Holland. Many people, as we have seen, are already here. The preparations are now due to begin for the Jalsa Salana, inshallah, tomorrow. How has it been this moment, and what are the preparations and the sentiments of the people here?
You're asking many questions. Of course, there's also a huge event with many aspects. So, of course, Jamaat is delighted and very emotional to receive Hazrat Khalifatul Masih and to pray with him, which is an extraordinary experience. And we are aware of that where the Khalifa is and what step he does and what he says and what he prays. God is hearing them. So it is inspiring us to have faith in the acceptance of prayers, and on the other hand we have two things. One is to prepare properly, so all the people who are busy, you see, they're still working and to get it as best as possible, and we are of course apologizing beforehand for any shortcomings which are there, but the spirit is huge, you know, and intention to make the best out of, you know, that's all the Jamaat members all over the world are in that way the same. For this purpose, to spread this message of peace, which is headed by Khalifatul Masih, by his example and his speech and his words all over the world. And here in Holland he spoke also in the parliament in 2015, when we laid the first stone in the new mosque in Almere. He's now going to open that. So there's also a huge event which is coming up after the Jalsa, which is of immense importance, and so we feel also the great task ahead. So Hazur said, simple word, you know it, and Muslims will understand it who are not Ahmadis. You are the Akhareen. I say it in my own words. Show it. So he gives now many times humorous, detailed accounts of the Awalin, the Sahabis, as an example for us to follow them. So that's where in this mood we are.
Okay. Jazakallah, Amir Sahib. Of course, as Amir Sahib Holland has just said, people are waiting quite excitedly for the Jalsa Tana, also for the inauguration of the mosque, and His Holiness has previously also spoken about the fact that our mosques are beacons of light that illuminate their surroundings, and we can't wait to see this inauguration, inshallah, very soon. Jazakallah for now. That is our update. Back to you, Noshirwan, in the studio.
Jazakallah Qamar Sahib for the live update, and that was our live report on Huzur's tour of Europe. And now for the rest of today's stories, let's take a look at some of the stories from around the world.
The fury of Britain's Brexit inferno is so intense that it could encourage violence unless politicians tone down their rhetoric, the husband of a lawmaker murdered a week before the 2016 EU referendum said on Thursday. Parliament reached boiling point on Wednesday when Prime Minister Boris Johnson and his opponents engaged in hours of vitriolic argument over Brexit, with lawmakers hurling allegations of betrayal and abuse of power across the chamber. Jo Cox, a 41-year-old parliamentarian from the opposition Labour Party, was murdered on June 16, 2016 by Thomas Mair, a loner obsessed with Nazis and extreme right-wing ideology. She was the mother of 2 young children. Brexit has illustrated a United Kingdom divided about much more than European Union and has fueled soul-searching about everything from succession and immigration to capitalism, empire and Britishness itself. The rage and ferocity of the Brexit debate has shocked allies of a country that has prided itself as a confident and mostly tolerant pillar of Western economic and political stability. Cox was clear that the language across the Brexit schism was troubling and that the United Kingdom needed to come together rather than tear itself apart. Johnson returned to the chamber on Wednesday after the Supreme Court ruled that his decision to suspend Parliament earlier this month was unlawful. Johnson told the 1922 committee, "It is a surrender act," arguing that it hurt Britain's negotiating stance with the EU. The Prime Minister added that he took threats to lawmakers very seriously. Hannah South, MTA News.
President Donald Trump pressed Ukraine's leader to investigate Democratic presidential frontrunner Joe Biden in coordination with the U.S. Attorney General and Trump's personal lawyer, according to a summary of a telephone call released by the Trump administration on Wednesday. The official account of the half-hour July call with President Volodymyr Zelensky laid bare an astonishing exchange of requests, pledges, and negotiation, including some unrelated to Biden. The summary was released a day after U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi said the Democratic-led chamber was launching an official impeachment inquiry, setting up a political showdown that threatens Trump's presidency as he campaigns for re-election in 2020. A Pelosi aide said that in 2 meetings with Democratic leaders on Wednesday, the Speaker suggested the possibility of making the inquiry narrowly focused on Trump and his dealings with Ukraine after months of House committee hearings on a range of other activities by the president. No final decisions were made, the aide said. The Washington Post first reported the possible strategy earlier on Wednesday. The inquiry could lead to articles of impeachment in the House that could trigger a trial in the Senate on whether to remove Trump from office. The call occurred after Trump had ordered a freeze of nearly $400 million in American aid to Ukraine, which the administration only later released. The controversy arose after a whistleblower from within the U.S. intelligence community brought a complaint relating to Trump's conversation with Zelensky. Trump has repeatedly suggested wrongdoing by Biden and his son, but has offered no evidence to back up the assertion. The Justice Department said Barr would not recuse himself from Ukraine-related investigations despite Democratic demands. Anila Khan, MT News.